What if I told you that the very thing you think makes you attractive might actually be holding you back? See, most guys completely miss the mark when trying to impress women. There's one raw, uncomfortable truth that divides the strong from the weak, and the men who truly grasp this idea, they don't just become magnetic to women, they become powerful in every part of life. It's a timeless lesson rooted in ancient Stoic wisdom, and today we're going to break it down. Stick around, because what you're about to hear could shift the way you see yourself forever. The biggest mistake men make about attraction. For generations, men have been taught that attraction is all about appearance, money, or social status. And while those things can play a role, they're not the foundation of real, lasting magnetism. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus saw through that illusion. They knew something deeper, something modern men have forgotten. Women aren't drawn to neediness, they're drawn to mastery. Think about how many guys chase women, constantly trying to prove they're worthy. They put her on a pedestal, hoping their efforts will finally win her over. But this rarely works, and here's why. When your self-worth depends on someone else's approval, you hand over your power. And once you lose that power, respect fades fast. A woman doesn't want a man who needs her to feel whole. She's drawn to the man who already is whole, with or without her. The Stoic secret to lasting attraction. The Stoics believed the highest form of strength is self-control, staying composed, confident, and unmoved by what's happening around you. When a man has command over his thoughts, emotions, and choices, he becomes unstoppable. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Here's the hard truth most guys ignore. You don't need approval from women, society, or anyone else. The second you stop chasing validation is the moment you start attracting it. So how do you actually live this? Let's break it down step by step. 1. Detach from outcomes. One of the biggest mistakes men make when it comes to attraction, or life in general, is tying their self-worth to outcomes they can't control. This is especially true in relationships. When you place too much importance on how a woman responds to you, whether she likes you, texts back, or shows interest, you're giving her power over your emotional state. And once you hand over that power, you lose your edge. The truth is, you should never let someone else's approval define your value. Instead of focusing on impressing others, turn that energy inward. Build a life that fulfills you. Get excited about your goals, your passions, your personal growth. That kind of focus creates an inner confidence that people are naturally drawn to. This idea is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. You can't control how someone feels about you, but you can control how you carry yourself. And when you live in alignment with your values and purpose, your energy speaks for itself." Detaching from outcomes doesn't mean you stop caring or become emotionless. It means you stay centered, regardless of what happens outside of you. Whether someone admires you or ignores you, you remain unaffected. That's power. When you stop needing a specific result, you stop acting out of desperation. And that's when you become truly magnetic. Women, opportunities, and respect all follow those who are calm, clear, and complete within themselves. Detachment isn't indifference, it's self-mastery. And it's one of the most attractive traits a man can develop. 2. Master your emotions. Emotions are powerful, but if you don't know how to control them, they'll control you. Most men go through life as emotional reactors, getting frustrated when things don't go their way, overly excited when they get a little attention, or crushed when they feel rejected. This roller coaster of emotions is not only exhausting, but also deeply unattractive. Attraction is built on stability. A man who can't regulate his emotional state appears needy, insecure, and chaotic. On the other hand, a man who remains calm under pressure, who can think clearly in moments of stress, instantly commands respect. That's what emotional mastery is all about. Stoic philosophers understood this better than anyone. They believed that true power comes from ruling over yourself, especially your emotions. When you let reason guide your actions instead of impulse, you become unshakable. You no longer get thrown off by rejection, setbacks, or even success. You maintain your center, no matter what's happening around you. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending to be robotic. It means responding, not reacting. It means learning to observe your emotions without being ruled by them. When you're calm, you're in control, not just of yourself, but of the entire dynamic around you. Women can sense emotional maturity. They're drawn to it, because a man who's composed signals strength, safety, and leadership. He doesn't panic. He doesn't overthink. He acts with intention. If you want to become magnetic, stop chasing emotional highs and start building inner stability. Emotional control isn't about being cold, it's about being powerful. And in a world full of emotional chaos, the calm man stands out. 3. Stop seeking validation. The more you seek validation from others, the less attractive you become. It's a paradox that most men struggle to understand. You might think that constantly proving yourself or trying to please others will earn their approval, but in reality, it does the opposite. It comes off as needy, insecure, and desperate. Validation-seeking behavior stems from a lack of self-worth. It's the belief that you need someone else's attention, praise, or affection to feel okay about yourself. But here's the truth. When you rely on external sources to feel confident, your foundation is always shaky. The moment that attention is gone, your self-esteem crumbles. Women are especially attuned to this. They can sense when a man needs their approval, and it's an instant turn-off. Why? Because it places the woman in the position of power. And no one wants to feel like they're being chased by someone who doesn't believe in their own value. True confidence doesn't come from compliments, likes, or attention. It comes from within, from discipline, self-respect, and doing the work no one sees. It's built in silence, through your habits, your mindset, and your mission. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with himself." That's the kind of man who doesn't need anyone to feel complete, but who is wanted by everyone because of how grounded and self-assured he is. When you stop seeking validation and start validating yourself, everything shifts. You stop acting out of fear and start acting from strength. You stop trying to be liked and start living as your authentic self. That energy is irresistible, not just to women, but to the world. 4. Purpose over pleasure. In a world full of distractions and instant gratification, men are constantly pulled toward comfort and pleasure. But here's a truth that separates the average from the extraordinary. Pleasure is temporary. Purpose is forever. When a man lives for short-term highs, chasing women, scrolling endlessly, avoiding discomfort, he slowly loses his edge. He becomes reactive instead of intentional. But when a man commits to something greater than himself, a vision, a mission, a personal code, he becomes magnetic. Women are instinctively drawn to purpose-driven men, not because they ignore women, but because they're building something bigger than just a relationship. They're creating impact. They're becoming someone. And in doing so, they naturally attract partners who respect and admire them. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's the essence of purpose. You don't talk about potential, you live it. You embody discipline, direction, and values. You stop letting pleasure pull you off course because your mission is too important. Purpose gives your life structure. It fuels your confidence, sharpens your focus, and raises your standards. You no longer chase things that don't align with your vision. You become the man who doesn't just attract attention, but earns respect. Living with purpose doesn't mean you sacrifice joy. It means you find deeper fulfillment through contribution, growth, and self-mastery. When you prioritize meaning over momentary satisfaction, you become unstoppable. So stop asking what will make you feel good right now. Start asking what kind of man you want to become. Then build your life around that answer. Becoming the unshakable man. Here's the truth that most men avoid. You don't win women by chasing them. You win by becoming a man they don't want to lose. A man who controls his emotions. A man who doesn't seek approval. A man with a deeper mission than just getting a date. When you live like this, you don't just attract women, you attract opportunity, respect, power, success. This is what Stoicism teaches, and this is how you become truly magnetic. If this message hit home, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps this message reach the men who need it most. Your journey to becoming unstoppable is just beginning. Now go out there and embody it. What do you think is the most important trait of an unshakable man? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.